Bhopal, the state capital of Madhya Pradesh, is home to 1.8 million people. 30% of this population lives in slums, yet occupies only 8% of the city's area. However, no issue exists in isolation. It is projected that by the year 2030, over 40% of the country's estimated 1.5 billion people will be living in cities. As India's urban population continues to rise, how do we ensure sustainable and holistic development of the country's growing cities? This is the question that the Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach Pilot, or SCIAP, tries to answer. SCIAP is a program developed by UN Habitat India in partnership with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, funded by the Global Environment Facility and implemented by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. SCIAP aims to infuse sustainability in urban planning and management. The program helps cities allocate resources effectively, improve service delivery, and enhance quality of life for all their citizens. SCIAP also encourages investments in green infrastructure in order to build climate resilience. In its pilot phase, SCIAP is being launched in 5 cities across India, one of which is Bhopal. Known as the City of Lakes, Bhopal has been shaped by its rich history and unique geography. The city's central historic core was constructed by the Nawabs and Begums between 1707 and 1949. Today, it is one of the densest parts of Bhopal, with more than 1,000 persons per hectare, as compared to the overall city average of 60 persons per hectare. From historic times to the present, an intricately designed artificial lake system comprising 18 water bodies forms the backbone of the water supply in the city. Along with the forests and grasslands that make up 17% of the city's area, Bhopal's natural assets also act as heat and carbon sinks. Sprawling and scattered development of the city is endangering its lakes and forests and increasing its dependence on fossil fuels for energy and transportation. At the same time, the city's slums are growing, while their access to basic services is decreasing. To tackle urban issues strategically, it is important to first assess and quantify them. But how do we measure a city's performance? A major component of SCIAP is the Urban Sustainability Assessment Framework, or USAF, which is a development support tool for city planning and management. Taking into account 211 data points across 131 indicators, USAF assesses a city's performance in 12 sectors such as water supply, sanitation, transportation, governance, and clean energy. The framework has been put together through exhaustive consultations with municipal corporations, development authorities, and sector experts. USAF also uses maps to illustrate a city's performance across several critical indicators, making it easier to identify issues. Using the collected data, USAF scores a city's performance on a 7-point scale. In our assessment, we found that Bhopal's overall performance across the USAF sectors is 3. While its citizens have access to adequate water supply, solid waste management, and finance and economy models for city management, Bhopal fares low in providing access to quality housing and property and adoption of clean energy infrastructure. Through sectoral assessments and consultations with the Bhopal Municipal Corporation, planning agencies, and grassroots organizations, 4 strategic issues have been identified in Bhopal. These are sprawling urban development, high dependence on motorized transport, vulnerable informal settlements, and endangered natural assets. Bhopal's population growth has slowed down from 1991 to 2011, but the city's area has increased 6-fold in the same period. Disproportionate expansion of city limits has led to an increase in low-rise, low-density settlements along city peripheries. This growth has been incentivized by lower land prices on the outskirts as compared to the city core. The Bhopal Development Plan has also not been updated in over 15 years, accelerating this unchecked development. This has resulted in loss of agricultural land along the city's fringes, high dependence on automobiles due to increasing distances, and lack of infrastructure outside the urban core. Urban sprawl is also leading to an increase in travel distances in the city, contributing to a 10% annual surge in Bhopal's vehicular traffic. This has led to increasing air pollution in the city and high greenhouse gas emissions. In 2019, Bhopal was classified as one of India's 100 non-attainment cities due to high concentrations of residual particulate matter in the city's air. While non-motorized transportation, including walking and cycling, is non-polluting and highly cost-effective, it is primarily restricted to the city's dense core. As a matter of fact, much of the city remains unserviced by NMTs and public transportation networks. At present, Bhopal has less than a kilometer of cycling lanes for every 1 lakh citizens, which is very low performance as per USAF. The brunt of sprawl is also borne by Bhopal's slum dwellers. And while 36% of the city's households live in slums, they occupy only 8% of the city's area, leading to overcrowded settlements. Half of Bhopal's households have access to only 3 or fewer basic services, like public transportation, healthcare facilities, and schools. About 23% of Bhopal's slums are located near lakes, streams, and wetlands. This makes them prone to floods and also increases the risk of waterborne diseases. In fact, in 2019, Bhopal reported more than 1,000 cases of malaria and dengue, highest amongst the cities studied by SkiApp. The Bhopal Master Plan prohibits development in areas with slopes greater than 8 degrees due to the increased risk of landslides. Bhopal's natural assets are also under siege. Unchecked urban development in proposed preservation zones endangers the city's lakes, forests, and wetlands. Over 2/3 of the city's wastewater flows into its water bodies, which are vital to Bhopal's water supply. In fact, site visits and consultations with city planning officials have revealed that preventive strategies proposed by the BDP 2005 have not been implemented fully. For instance, 8 million liters of untreated sewage is dumped into the Shahpura Lake each day, which not only affects the lake's biodiversity but also affects the water quality of several cities downstream. Likewise, the BDP proposed preservation zones along the Bhoj wetland have been affected by erosion and encroachment. Despite being declared a wetland of international importance at the Ramsar Convention in 2002, aerial studies reveal that the area has not been protected as planned. The forested ridge between Kerwa Dam and Kalia Sot Dam in Bhopal's southwest region is also under threat. This dry, deciduous forest has not been recognized by the draft BDP 2031, leaving it prone to exploitation. Conflict over land ownership between the State Revenue Department and the Forest Department has only made matters worse. What Bhopal needs is an integrated plan of action. The issues afflicting the city can be addressed with a set of strategic interventions that include urban core revitalization, enabling an eco-arterial complete streets network, urban retrofitting of informal settlements, ecological restoration through Bhopal Eco Living Lab. Urban core revitalization mitigates sprawl by encouraging compact and holistic urban development. The resulting proximate growth increases citizens' access to opportunities and urban amenities, while also reducing carbon emissions. The city core can be densified by redeveloping underused land parcels to strengthen access to social, commercial, and recreational facilities. Zoning guidelines and developmental controls can also incentivize the densification of housing and mixed-use development. In this kind of development, the availability of affordable housing stock is vital to ensure that economically vulnerable populations are not pushed to the city's peripheries. Finally, in situ upgrades can tackle sprawl by providing adequate intermodal connectivity and creating public green and open spaces as necessary. To counter Bhopal's high dependence on fossil fuels resulting from urban sprawl, it is important to establish an eco-arterial complete streets network that enables safe, comfortable, and unobstructed mobility for all road users. UN Habitat's Eco-Arterial Complete Streets Assessment Toolkit can help cities improve road safety, ensure last-mile connectivity, and create equitable streets for pedestrians, cyclists, and other NMTs. In terms of motorized transport, a low-carbon comprehensive mobility plan can integrate land use and transport planning and reorganize regional and city traffic to provide a seamless experience. This mobility plan can also enable on-ground convergence with missions and policies like Bhopal Clean Air Action Plan 2019, Draft BDP 2031, and Bhopal Smart City Plan. In the interest of the vulnerable communities that call Bhopal their home, a pan-city survey is required to identify the needs of the city's informal settlements. This survey can document the existing conditions of community-level urban infrastructure, amenities, and services across Bhopal's slums. With a data repository in place, slum rehabilitation coalitions can improve informal settlements by facilitating knowledge sharing, community awareness, capacity building, and self-determination of needs amongst all stakeholders. As a next step, opportunities for in-situ improvements can be identified by analyzing slum locations, population density, and access to urban amenities. For communities that will not benefit from infill or in-situ development, affordable housing stock must be created to enable resettlement, identification of at-risk slums, and earmarking spatial opportunities for housing development will be a crucial step in this direction. These measures build upon central and state development missions like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Urban, and Bhopal Smart City Plan, amongst several others. Given the impact of encroachment and climate change on Bhopal's ecology, a comprehensive action plan is required to preserve and nurture the city's existing biodiversity through collaboration, research, and innovation. The Bhopal Eco-Living Lab, or BEL, has been envisioned as a nodal body led by the city government that can be tasked with assessing urban biodiversity and proposing a plan for its conservation. BEL can help create ecologically sensitive public spaces such as green streets, recreational parks, and waterfront redevelopment projects. The Eco Lab can also help implement nature-based solutions like rainwater harvesting troughs, decentralized wastewater treatment systems, and plantation drives. BEL can also address ownership disputes between government departments by establishing clear city-level guidelines for urban forestry. Together, these integrated strategies can holistically address the issues affecting Bhopal. The City of Lakes is endowed with a rich culture and history and an abundance of natural assets. By identifying city-wide as well as area-based opportunities for development, SkiApp aims to create a sustainable, climate-resistant, inclusive, and equitable Bhopal and improve the quality of life for all its citizens.